Securities Exchange Commission, known as the SEC, has filed lawsuits against two of the biggest exchanges, Binance and Coinbase. We're going to be doing a deep dive into both of these lawsuits individually, as well as we're going to be doing our XRP giveaway towards the end of this video. So make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of this video to find out all the information. Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. You guys could do a couple of things for me. If you guys are going to like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. If you guys could share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can, and I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Getting started takes me Wednesday, June 7th. The total market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $1.1 trillion. This is a 1.81% decrease on the day today. Bitcoin right now is currently trading at $26,430, Ethereum $1,841, and XRP at 52.13 cents. Getting into our biggest gainers and losers on the day today, obviously with these two lawsuits that got filed, it drastically dropped the market cap for all cryptocurrencies. And that was just a couple days ago that both these two lawsuits were filed. One was filed on Monday, the other was on Tuesday. We'll talk about those. But our biggest gainers on the day, Stacks up 3.3%, XDC up 1.1%. And then BGB up 0.7%. Our biggest losers on the day, Kava down 19.3%, Hex is going to be down 9.4%, and Algorand down 9.2%. Overall, though, we're going to be in a down day, probably a down week for most of our cryptocurrencies due to these lawsuits. Some more so than others, just depending on which cryptocurrencies were labeled as securities. We'll talk about that. But it doesn't mean you cannot make money in these markets. If we look at the week, we see some of our coins in green. Our biggest one is Luna Classic. Again, no financial advice, but I would avoid this one due to the lawsuits with Do Kwon and stuff like that, and his massively destroying that exchange and that coin. But getting into the month, though, I mean, XRP, one of my favorite cryptocurrencies, up 23.6%. They've been in a lawsuit with the SEC for over 2.5 years now. That lawsuit's supposedly going to be ending here, hopefully pretty soon. So that's why this coin's been pumping. I was surprised to see Hex down 82.1%, currently trading at 1 cent right now. That one's kind of crazy to me. I was hearing a lot of people talk about it. I thought it was going to be a good coin. I did not invest in it. I thought about it, but obviously I'm glad that I didn't. I'd be down almost 80% right now if I invested on it 1 month ago when I saw it. Obviously, though, use caution when investing. But getting into our deep dives, the first one we're going to talk about is Binance. So Gary Gensler says, through 13 charges, we allege that Zoe is CZ, he's Binance's CEO and founder of Binance. Entities engages in an extreme web of deception, conflicts of interest, lack of disclosure, and calculated evasions of the law. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of readings in this because we're trying to get all of the facts. I'm not going to try to do a bunch of other stuff. I want to give you guys the facts of the case. So this one's going to be a little bit more in-depth, detailed, lots of readings. Obviously, you guys don't like, or some of you guys don't like reading, so I'll do the readings for you guys. So some of you guys might just, want to just listen in. If you guys tune in while you guys drive, I do appreciate you guys following me. And that's why I've been doing this XRP giveaway. We'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But the Securities Exchange Commission, known as the SEC, came out and says, today we charge Binance Holdings Ltd, Binance US based affiliate, BAM Trading Services Incorporated, which together with Binance operates Binance.us, and their founder, CZ Changpeng Zhou, with a variety of securities laws violations. When you click this link right here, and again, everything's going to be in the comments, it brings up the entire report, what they're charging them with. So it says right here, the Securities Exchange Commission today charged Binance Holdings, which operates the largest crypto asset trading platform in the world, Binance.com, US-based affiliate BAM Trading Services Incorporated, which together with Binance operates the crypto asset trading platform Binance.us, and their founder CZ, with a variety of securities laws violations. Among other things, the SEC alleges that while Zoe and Binance publicly claimed the U.S. customers were restricted from trading on Binance.com, Zoe and Binance, in reality, subverted their own controls of the securities, allow high value US customers to continue trading on Binance.com platform. So if you were in the United States, they were allowed to trade on Binance.com and not the US base, which is Binance.us. If you live in the United States, that's the only one you can technically access. Further, the SEC alleges that while Zoe and Binance publicly claimed that Binance.us was created as a separate independent trading platform for US investors, Zoe and Binance secretly controlled the Binance.us platform's operations behind the scenes. Now, to be determined, but obviously, if it's Binance and Binance.us, obviously they're going to be having some sort of control as their business practice. It's still under Binance's head. So in my opinion, I don't know if I really believe that or trust that much. But the SEC alleges that Zoe and Binance exercise control of the platform's customer assets, permitting them to commingle customer assets or divert customer assets as they please, including to the entity of Zoe owned and controlled called Sigma Chain. Now, obviously, if Binance did do something wrong, obviously we want it to be investigated, but should it be investigated in such a way where a lawsuit needs to be thrown down to kind of destroy what cryptocurrency is and what it has been doing and how much it has accomplished? Obviously, Binance, like they said right here, is the biggest exchange in the world. I use Binance. I like Binance. I trust Binance.com, Binance.us, and CZ, their founder. Obviously, he hasn't done anything, in my opinion, that's been able to prove that wrong. But some of these charges include unregistered exchange, broker, and clearing agency, unregistered offer and sales of crypto assets. But we'll talk about which ones they consider because there's just a couple that are named right here. Failure to restrict US investors from accessing Binance.com and misleading investors. Now, Binance came out and did respond. So this is on Binance's.com website. This is what they talked about. And this is their basically rebuttal for what they got sued for. And says that while we were disappointed that the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission chose to file a complaint today against Binance seeking, among other remedies, purported emergency relief. From the start, we have actively cooperated with the SEC's investigations and have worked hard to answer their questions and address their concerns. Mostly recently, we have engaged in extensive good faith discussions to reach a negotiated settlement to resolve their investigations. But despite our efforts with the complaint today, the SEC abandoned that process and instead chose to act unilaterally and litigate. We are disheartened by that choice. Now, in my opinion, I don't really know how I feel about this when they say that we have engaged in extensive good faith discussions to reach a negotiated settlement. So, when they say negotiated settlement, it means that they might have actually done something wrong. That's to be determined. We'll see what happens with this. But to file this major lawsuit against Binance.us and Binance itself and their founder, CZ, crippling investors. Obviously, they don't have the investors, at heart, in my opinion, when they do this. But they say today's actions in another line are examples where, as with other crypto projects facing similar suits, mainly XRP, the commission is determined to regulate with a blunt weapon and enforcement through litigation rather than the thoughtful nuanced approach demanded by the dynamic and complex technology, unilaterally labeling certain tokens and services as securities, even ones over which other U.S. authorities have asserted jurisdiction, only compounds these problems. Where some people say that Bitcoin or Ethereum are considered securities or not. Some people say that XRP is, some people say that XRP is not, to be determined. So if you guys want to, you guys can go further and read through this. We're going to get into a little bit more, though. The SEC accused Binance of selling securities. The one that they included was BNB, which is Binance's coin, BUSB, which is a one-to-one for the US dollar on Binance, Solana, Cardano. That one was a big shocker right here, Cardano, and another one, Matic. Those were the two biggest ones, in my opinion, that I saw. Third one would probably be File. The rest I could kind of see because he also talked about Algorand. Gary Gensler came out and said it, but in my opinion, he's also purported and basically talked about Algorand as being this massive project where you can basically build Uber on. And he talked about their creator Sylvia and how he came up with this good project. So when he was working at MIT, he talked about Algorand and the label of security. That one was kind of different for me. But Filecoin, Atom, Sandbox, Mana, Algorand, AXS, and Cody. We'll see what happens with these though. But those are the biggest coins that took the massive dumps when they get labeled as a security. Algorand's been tanking drastically. Cardano did too. Now, Charles Hawkinson, for those of you guys that don't know, he is the creator of Cardano or the ADA token. He says, with respect to Binance, I'm reading through the SEC's complaint. It's over 130 pages. Now, 130 pages long. Okay. They have to make these things super complex for your average person to not be able to read it, want to read it, or understand it. But it seems like the next series of steps to implement Choke Point 2.0 in the United States. So there's this Operation Choke Point 1.0 and 2.0. 1.0, a lot of people are speculating, was the Ripple versus the SEC lawsuit. And then number two, Choke Point 2.0 is going to be the basically lawsuits against exchanges. The end goal of the agenda base, the CBDC partnered with a handful of massive banks and end-to-end control over every aspect of your guys' financial lives. So they basically want to control over your finances. We'll see what happens with this though. If you guys want to, he came out with a 20-minute video and says why we fight for cryptocurrency. Great video to watch, very informative. Binance, the next day, this is the following day. So that was June 5th. June 6th would be Tuesday. Binance says this afternoon the SEC filed a motion seeking a TRO and preliminary injunctions against Binance.us, attempting to, amongst other things, freeze Binance.us corporate assets. User assets remain safe and secure on the platform through. Continues to be fully operated with deposits and withdrawals functioning as normal. So as of right now, everyone's assets supposedly on Binance.us are safe. Obviously, me and every other person who's in the crypto space says get your guys' assets off of exchanges. Some people use exchanges to stake. Binance does have the staking protocol on some of their coins where you guys can basically stake the coins, receive a percentage back. It's normally under 15%. If anyone sees a thing that says over, you can stake and get 300% on your crypto. Obviously, that's probably a scam and you're going to lose your money. But with this, though, obviously with Binance.us, you don't want to become like an FTX and basically have your money on these exchanges when they get shut down by the federal government through whatever course of action it happens. You guys lose your guys' assets because technically Binance.us has the ability to take your assets on it if it needs to. So get your guys' money off exchanges, get a cold storage wallet. A lot of people talk about Ledger right now not being super safe. To be determined, do your guys' own individual research. I still like Ledger in my opinion. I have 3 other crypto cold storage wallets, but I do use Ledger as well. So we'll see what happens. Moving on though, the U.S. court, this is today, okay, the 7th, today, U.S. court summons Binance CEO CZ. So they want to bring him in front of the court and question him, and we'll see what happens with that. But Binance also came out later in the afternoon and said that Gary Gensler applied to serve as an advisor for Binance in 2019 before becoming the SEC chair. So he's talked about how bad Binance is, that how they're engaging in unlawful sales of securities. But in 2019, he wanted to work as a advisor for Binance, but now he works for the SEC. We'll see what happens. But here's a little timeline. 2019, he applies to become an advisor for Binance. 2019, he's rejected. My guest from Mario. Mario's a great guy. He talks about a bunch of different stuff. 2021, he becomes the chairman of the SEC. 2022, he says Binance is operating illegally in the U.S. If you were going to sue them, why wouldn't you sue them in 22 when you said that they were operating illegally in the U.S.? You waited. Why? 2023 is when he just sued this week. So we'll see what happens with this. Moving on, though, this was on Tuesday. Coinbase alleged failures deprive investors of critical protections, including rulebooks that prevent fraud and manipulation, proper disclosure, safeguards against conflicts of interest, and routine inspections by the SEC. So he's talking about them suing the Coinbase exchange. Now, U.S. Securities Exchange Commission comes out and says, today we charge Coinbase Incorporated with operating its crypto assets trading platforms as an unregistered national securities exchange broker and clearing agent for failing to register and offer the sale of its crypto asset staking as a service program. So they're saying that they offered and sold cryptocurrencies that were considered securities, but also had a staking service program, also, again, where you can stake your crypto. So, going through this, they did the exact same thing. You guys can read this if you guys want to in depth. Moving on, though, Brian Armstrong, he is their co founder and CEO. He says, regarding the SEC complaint against us today, we're proud to represent the industry in court to finally get some clarity around crypto assets. Now, they could have done this when Ripple got sued. They decided to take XRP off of their exchange when Ripple got sued by the SEC, and obviously turned their back on the crypto industry. Now they're trying to essentially make it right, is what it seems like when they're trying to fight back against the SEC now. But it's only when they're threatened is when they fight back. It says, remember, the SEC reviewed our business and allowed us to become a public company in 2021. So we'll talk about this here in a second. There is no path forward to come in and register. We tried repeatedly, so we don't list securities. We reject the vast majority of assets we review. The SEC and CFTC have made conflicting statements and don't even agree on what a security or a commodity is. These are the two agencies that are trying to get control over digital assets. This is why the U.S. Congress is introducing new legislation to fix the situation, and the rest of the world is moving to put clear rules in place for support its technology. We'll see what happens with this, but basically what he's saying is the Congress has to step in right now and figure this out, and they're going to have a court date on the 13th, and that's when the House committee is going to discuss digital assets. But when they become a publicly traded company for IPOing, so for those of you guys that don't know, it's the process of offering shares of a company, corporation to a public in a new stock insurance for the first time. So you guys can actually buy shares of certain companies, like if you wanted to buy Amazon, Apple, Google, stuff like that. Now, you have to IPO, you have to get the government to look at your guys' books, make sure you guys are running a good business before investors can actually invest in the company. They became approved in 2021 to become a publicly traded company. But here it says in the complaint that it alleges that since 2019, so you had 2019, 2020, and 2021, that's 3 years that they had books to look at, and they allowed them to become a publicly traded company and then now sue them 3 years later after they looked at their books and their business models. We'll see what happens though. Coinbase stock sinks 17% following the lawsuit. So the crypto market essentially didn't really get affected that much. It got drastically affected in the Binance lawsuit. If we look at our Bitcoin chart, we have to look at the 7-day. Here is the 4th, the 5th when it hits is when the crypto market tanked. It was trading at 28,000 the day, 27,000 the day before, and then dropped to a low of 25.4. Now, currently trading at 26. Obviously, we'll still figure out what happens with this. But Coinbase stock is a little bit different. This is, again, you buying into Tesla, Apple, Amazon, stuff like that. But it sank drastically, 17%. Now, Unusual Whale comes out and says, well, this is unusual. Yesterday, someone opened New Coin, which is Coinbase's stock, $50 weekly puts for $107,000. They were 17% OTM and expired in just 4 days. Today, the SEC sued Coinbase, which is the coin. Okay, that's the stock or the number that they would use for the stock. And then their positions are up very big, nearly 2,572%. So they turned $100,000 into millions. Someone knew what was going to happen. So it's just kind of controversial that that's going on right now. Moving on, though, I'm going to try to make these videos a little bit quicker. We still have our giveaway at the end. So it says Paul Grewal. So for those of you guys that don't know, he's a chief legal officer. He's the one that's going to represent Coinbase in this lawsuit. It says earlier today, the Third Circuit Court issued a short order in Coinbase's mandamus action today. The court noted that the SEC sued against us this morning and asked the SEC whether this means the SEC has decided to deny our pending petition for rulemaking. The SEC has 7 days to respond. So they want a little bit more clarification from the SEC. They filed a motion. Now, obviously, that motion didn't really get approved. What happened was Coinbase filed a lawsuit before responding, or the SEC filed a lawsuit against Coinbase before responding to the motion. We'll see what happens. Again, I'll clarify in following videos what comes out of this, but the SEC has 7 days to respond to this. Now, Jeremy Hogan, for those of you guys that don't know, he's a huge crypto lawyer. who's a huge lawyer, and he focuses on digital assets right now to make little videos. For legal briefs on YouTube. He kind of stopped recently because the Ripple versus the SEC case, that's the one he was focusing on, is kind of at a standstill waiting on judges' orders. But he says SEC versus Coinbase. The lawsuit, the head of the SEC stated back in 2021 it did not have authority to bring. I wonder what changed. Meta Lawman comes out and has a video posted of Gary Gensler coming out and says that after he was confirmed to the Post chairman of the SEC, Gensler testified to Congress on May 6, 2021, that the SEC does not have authority from Congress to regulate crypto exchanges. So in this video, again, it'll be in the comments. You guys can watch it. He talks about how Congress has to make the rules on digital assets. So we'll see what happens with this, though. But this is damning video, and basically goes against everything that he's suing right now for. Brad Garlinghouse, he's the CEO at Ripple. He came out and says that if it wasn't already clear, it should be now. Chair Gensler's laughable pro-innovation stance, as he said today, is exactly the opposite of what he tells me is that the SEC is throwing lawsuits at the wall and hoping they distract from the agency's FTX debacle. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, FTX used to be an exchange, used to be one of the world's largest exchanges besides Binance. But FTX had this whole controversy with their CEO and founder, Sam Bankman Fried. He actually was pretty good friends with a lot of people in Congress. A lot of people actually gave him money, or he actually donated a bunch of money to congressmen and congresswomen. And when the FTX exchange fell, it was because he was doing some shady stuff. It was never investigated by the SEC. Now the SEC goes after a bunch of exchanges. Why didn't they go after FTX? So it's kind of a little cover up. It's embarrassing to watch an unelected bureaucrat flail like the mask, that the fact that he and his agency don't have the power that he so desperately craves. No one is fooled. And it's kind of crazy that Brad Garlinghouse, through this Ripple versus the SEC lawsuit, is coming out with a hard stance against this. He's kind of been quiet about a lot of things. Now that the lawsuit's coming towards an end, he's kind of vocalizing things a little bit more. So it's great to see that Brad Garlinghouse said something like this. Now, Stuart Alderati, he's a chief legal officer at Ripple, whereas Paul Grewal was the one at Coinbase. This is the lawyer for Ripple. Stuart Alderati comes out and says the allegations in these suits are just that, unproven. The SEC, despite what Chair Gensler pretends, does not have a magic regulatory wand that it can just wave and say tokens are securities. Looking forward to how the courts and Congress will take this. Now, we're going to wait and see. We have until the 13th to figure out what's going on in the Ripple versus the SEC case. That's kind of the timeline of when a motion or ruling is going to be set down. But also with that, that's when the Hinman documents are going to get released, as well as now when the SEC has that much time until it has to respond to Coinbase's notice to talk about which crypto assets are securities and which ones are not, and the reasons why. So we'll see that clarity hopefully come out. Look forward to that, though. I'll be making videos in the meantime. If you guys have any questions, please put them down in the comments. Now we're going to be doing our crypto giveaway. So we had a lot of comments, 188. I had a couple people comment saying that I have, a bunch of bots. In my opinion, I might not, but if they create a Twitter account, they followed my Twitter. That was the rules. I'm not going to change them for this giveaway. Maybe the next giveaway I'll figure out something else. Somebody suggested Telegram. I don't actually have Telegram right now, but they said that that is a way to stop bots because you have to use a phone number. But it's 100 XRP, so it's basically like $50. I'm going to be giving away, so 25 dollars essentially. It's going to be 50 XRP to two winners, so that in total is going to equal 100 XRP. I don't see somebody creating a bunch of separate accounts for 25 bucks. For a chance to win $25, I should say. But I do appreciate all of you guys watching my videos, but we're going to do this really quick. I'm going to filter out duplicate users. I'm not going to include reply comments. So I had a bunch of people reply a bunch. So it's not going to be per reply. It's going to be just per one reply. So out of those 188, we probably had maybe 100 individual people comment. So you guys have basically a 2% chance. I do appreciate you guys that are here, though. We're going to do show names of random winners. I have better internet now, right? So the sum is shown. So 3, get YouTube comments. There's 59 comments, 99 unique comments. So I was close. It was 99, not 100. Now we're going to click start. The first winner of our giveaway is going to be Kathy O. Please message me on my Twitter, and I will work with you on getting your XRP sent to your wallet. We're going to choose another YouTube winner. So let's see. Pick another winner. So our next winner is going to be, I think I have to do sum is going to be 10. Perfect. The next winner is going to be Marla22. Thank you guys for participating in my YouTube channel giveaway. We're at 300 subscribers right now. As we move forward with my YouTube channel, we're going to be doing more giveaways. So I do appreciate your continued support. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them in the comments. I try to reply to everyone. This last one, I got close to everyone. I might have missed a couple of you guys, so I'm sorry. You guys can message me on Twitter. I'll get back to you guys also. Thank you guys. If you guys can invest with the big dog, stay on the porch. Thank you guys and have a good one.